Hey guys, my name is Christian Butuli. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As always, I'm excited to be here talking and sharing some ideas with you. I'm excited to see another day. I'm excited to be alive because I know sometimes life can make us lose perspective of what's really important. So, the last few months, the last few weeks, I've been trying my hardest to keep a positive mindset, to keep a positive attitude, to look on the bright side even when things are not going my way. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's not easy at all. It's hard, but it's worth trying. So if you're watching this video, I just want to tell you, regardless of whatever you're going through, the fact that you woke up this morning, it's a blessing in itself. So just keep going. Your mission here on earth is not done yet. You still have a lot to bring to the table. Don't let anything discourage you. Don't give up, and everything is going to be okay. All right, let's dive in. All right, guys, in today's video, I want to talk about why too much of anything is never a good thing. Before I get into today's conversation, I would like to share a story with you. I think by me telling this story, it will provide a canvas for me in which I can paint on to give you guys a better picture of what I'm trying to say in this video. All right, so not too long ago, I was talking to my best childhood friend. Like, this guy was my first best friend that I've ever had. We were born in the same city. We were raised in the same streets. We learned to talk together. We learned to walk together. We learned to run together. We learned to play soccer together. We learned how to fight together. We fought each other.
Like
This guy, the first 10 years of my life, I spent it with this guy. So he's just an amazing guy, man. Because every
because
time when I talk to him, it just brings back so many good old memories. Back home in Congo, how we used to play in the rain, how we used to like eat mangoes and just enjoy our day and carefree before we knew how this world can be, how cruel this world can be, and also how beautiful this world can be. So it just makes me really happy every time I talk to him because I feel like I'm talking, to my past. I'm talking to my country. And the good thing about talking to him is that when I talk to him, I get to check up on my other friends as well. And all of them are doing amazing. So that really warms my heart. And some of my friends even went to other countries like France and other places. So it's just good to know everybody's doing good. And it's crazy how life works out, man. Like all of us started together in one place, and as we got older, everybody went their own separate ways. Everybody went on their own journey, but it's always good to talk and catch up with them. So the reason I want to tell this story is because when I was talking to him, obviously we talked about everything, just a regular guy talk. We talked about family. He has a daughter. He knows that I have a son and I'm expecting a daughter. We talked about money, cars, girls, our countries, how Congo is doing. He also asked how America is doing. Everything was good. And then he ended up saying something that kind of made me go like, like a speed bump, like, hold up. Did I just hear what you said? But he said that he inspires to come to America because America seems like heaven on earth. Now, the first part of that statement, I can definitely agree with that because who does not want to come to America? Yes, he's not perfect, but the truth being said, a lot of people want to come here. But the second part, when he said, because America seems like heaven on earth, that was the part that I just couldn't fully agree with him. And I'll tell you guys why. So when he said that, I told him, I was like, hey, I just don't want to give you
or
this
this false
false perception that if you come to America, everything is perfect because it's not. America is a country, it has, pros and cons just like every other places in the world. But yes, if you come here, you work hard, you are creative, you are smart, you make good choices, and you're able to solve people's problems or entertain other people or whatever you can, you're a great business person, then America can definitely become your heaven on earth. Because if you're a millionaire and you're a billionaire here, yeah, you can definitely create your little heaven here. But also, when you're here, you have to take care of yourself, and be smart because it is so easy to self destruct. And it was like, what do you mean? So I told them, when you live in a capitalist country, when you live in a first world country where there is advancement in technology, where there is advancement in science, where there is advancement in medicine, you live in a country with a strong GDP, low poverty rate compared to most countries in the world, it does come with a dark side as well. And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "For example, people that live in a first world country has a high rate of experiencing anxiety, stress, depression, uneasiness, worst case, suicide." And when I told them that, it just couldn't comprehend, what I was saying. It just couldn't understand why someone who's living in a first world country, since he lives in a third world country, it just couldn't comprehend how someone who can live in this country want to unalive themselves or be depressed. Because for him, he has this perception of America. He has this perception of the Western world. And I don't blame him, because I used to live in a third world country and now I live in a first world country. So I definitely have an opinion on that because I lived on both sides. And if you're an immigrant, anyone who's an immigrant definitely knows this. If you're born outside of the United States or any Western country, you will definitely notice that when you are outside, the one thing that the United States or the Western world does so great is branding, advertising, marketing themselves, to the point where when you are outside looking in, you would think here is literally heaven on earth. You would think when you come to America, you can pick money off the trees, or $100 bills will be falling from the sky, or you will become a millionaire overnight, or your health will dramatically improve overnight. You know what I mean? But that's just not the case. So when I told him that like living in a first world country comes with a downside as well, he just couldn't understand. So I had to tell him even more. I was like, so one of the things that people in a first world country suffer from is that it's so easy to compulsively over consume on stuff, because we have access to things that has the ability to release dopamine, that has the ability to tap into our dopamine system. Meaning, I don't care what it is, anything that has the ability to make you release dopamine has the ability to make you become addicted to it. I used to watch this show. I don't know if it's still running, but I used to watch this show called My 500 Pound or My 600 Pound Life. Now, every
Now,
time when I watch this show, it made it clear to me that there is problem with compulsive overconsumption when it comes to food, and that show shows the extreme level of it. And I had to really think back to myself. I'm like, so let's just say if you're driving, if you get hungry, guess what, there's a drive through you can go through to get food. When you're at home, you don't feel like cooking, you want something to eat, you can call a food place where if you want to get out the house, you can go pick it up or you can get it delivered. My neighbor who lives across the street, this guy does not go grocery shopping. He gets his groceries delivered to his house. And then everywhere you look, whether it's on TV, social media, billboard, there is some type of marketing, advertising of food. You know what I mean? Like there's some pizza place where you can call, you buy one large, you get one large free. There is, for example, Wendy, you have four for four, $4 for 4 items. And I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I love Wingstop, and Wingstop have so many deals, like it's ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying having options is a bad thing. But what I'm saying is, if you don't pay attention to compulsive overconsumption on anything, then you're gonna put yourself, you know, on a road to self-destruction. Because as we consume more food, what does that do? It puts more pressure on the farmers to farm more, which requires more land. It puts more pressure on the butcher to an alive animal at a faster rate. It puts more pressure on fishermen to do more fish farming, which is not ideal way to catch fish. And the more we overconsume, the more we're going to create waste. So what I'm
So
trying to say is it is so easy to compulsively overconsume living in a first world country. And it just doesn't stop at food. We can talk about the internet. Like,
like
don't
don't
get
get
me wrong, I love the internet. Because of that, I'm able to connect with y'all. You guys can watch me, maybe comment, see if you like my video or not. With
with
the
the internet.
internet, you have the ability to make money. You have the ability to expose your talent to the world. You have the ability to connect with one another, all great things. But the dark side of it with the internet, especially, living in a first world country, all of us have internet with us 24/7 through our phone. And when you have internet with you at all time, meaning our phone, we are able to be exposed to pornographic materials. We are able to be exposed to online gambling. We are able to be exposed to online shopping, online betting. All those things has the ability to release dopamine, therefore has the ability to make you addicted to it. And if we talk about social media, for example, once again, same thing with social media. You can grow your fan base, you can sell merch, you can advertise your business, all great things. But then again, there's a dark side of it. If you over consume social media, not a good thing. For example, nowadays, there is no meaningful relationship on social media. I see some people, they have a great relationship, but they feel like it's not enough because they're too busy looking on social media, what other people are posting, the pictures and all that kind of stuff. When in reality, they actually have a good relationship. Because a lot of people on social media are faking, they're lying. Your girl can easily get DM'd by 20 guys. Like there's this sense of false validation. Like a girl can post picture on social media and gets a bunch of likes by 1,000 dudes, and then you have her thinking that all those guys want her romantically. No, they are lusting after you. You're out there showing your booty pic. You're out there showing your amazing curves.
You
You're
out
out
there
there
wearing
wearing tight clothes, showing something seductive. And then you get all these attentions. You think all those guys desire you romantically. They don't. They just want to hit it and quit it. All of us are dealing with compulsive checking and using. I had to kind of like check myself because sometimes when I post a video on YouTube, I will kind of go back to see how many people watched it, how many people liked it, how many impression I got. And it's not the way to live. So now I kind of had to like force myself, hey, if you make a video on YouTube, you're allowed to watch it one time only because you can at least, it's like film study. So you can see where you went wrong, so you can see what you can work on for the next time, so you can see how you can get better. But apart from that, release the video and move on. People are having a lot of body image due to compulsive overconsumption of social media. Like I've went through that as well. I'll see some guys like, on social media, their physique is just amazing. Pause. Not trying to be weird or anything like that. But like their physique is amazing. You're like, man, this guy has no fat. How does he do it? There was this one guy at the gym that I used to work out with. He was probably in the best shape ever. And I used to always give him credit. Like, this guy, I used to tell him, hey, dude, like, what's your secret? Do you eat right? Like, what kind of workout do you do? And then I ended up finding out that the guy was on a cycle. He was on roid. I'm not saying this to try to like judge people that do that. But for me, I don't respect that. That is just my opinion. If it's not natural, I don't care. That's why I prefer natural bodybuilding because those shit can compromise your health. Roid, all this stuff, all those cycles can compromise your health. That's why I don't like it. So after that, I just kind of lost respect for him because I'm like, dude, you're not doing it the natural way. You're not doing it the right way. And social media also comes with a lot of distraction. Like, you find yourself spending hours checking on social media, scrolling, looking at what's going on in other people's life to the point where you don't even get anything done throughout the day. How many of you guys had made plans to go to sleep, and then as soon as you lay down, you pull out your phone, you begin scrolling, and then before you know it, 1, 2 hours pass by, and you way past your bedtime? I have. Guess what? It didn't help me at all. The next day I woke up, I was tired, grumpy. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Plus, I had to go to work. Being on social media sometimes can kind of make you have low self esteem because you feel like you're not enough. And also, the one thing about social media is that when you are on it or the internet, you are exposed to suggestive behaviors. Like, you see different type of dance or different type of trends, and you want to do it. Not all of them are good, so you got to pay attention to that. Let's talk about the wealth gap. In a first world country, the rich want more. They want more money. They want more profit. They want more land. They want more power. They want more control. Like, they're doing everything they can to, exploit the system. They're doing everything they can to not pay taxes. While regular people like us, if we don't pay taxes, we get thrown in jail. Like, the wealth gap continue to widen, and it's not sustainable. That's all due to compulsive overconsumption of wealth. I feel like the road that we are heading to is going to become like the Hunger Games, where the rich are watching the poor fight it out and they loving each other as a sport. That's where we're going. So there have to be some type of limitation. There have to be some type of understanding, because the road that we're going is a dead end road. Let's talk about drugs here. In a first world country, in a developed country, you have easy access to drugs. For example, I grew up in Colorado. I used to go to a bunch of raves and EDM concerts where we saw, the Skrillex, the Bass Nectar, the Dead Mouse, the Zest Dead, all those guys. And I can't even tell you how much drugs circulated in those concerts. Literally anything you wanted, you can get it. So I used to get fucked up, man. I'm not gonna lie about that. Not the coolest shit I've done, but I'm just saying, like, you have such an easy access to get drugs. Doctors nowadays are prescribing more opioid than ever before. Each one of us knows someone who can get us drug, or knows someone who knows someone who can get us drugs. And then the thing about these drugs, like, there's an increased number of drugs, like a lot of different drugs. You have the shrooms, you have, the snow, you have marijuana, you have alcohol, you have pills, like so many, a lot more that I don't even know of. And then those drugs comes in, different forms and variety. For example, let's talk about marijuana. Marijuana, it comes in cookies, it comes in joint, blunt, it comes in drinks, it comes in vapes, like any way you like it. And then the potency level is higher than it ever been before. When I used to smoke marijuana, when I go to the dispensary, like, I want the top shelf because I'm like, I'm not gonna smoke something that's whack. If I'm gonna compromise my health, I may as well smoke good shit. So this guy ended up selling me a blunt that costed me $25. I was like, man, this is too expensive. And he told me, try it. I smoked it, bro. I was so fucking high, man. It was crazy. And I remember I was making eggs. And I was so high, instead of putting salt in my eggs, I ended up putting sugar. That was the sweetest egg I've ever tasted, man. So you got to pay attention to that. The potency level is going crazy. And the thing about these drugs is, like, the more you smoke it, the more you do it, it does change your epigenetics, which means it changes the strand of your DNA, which can affect you and affect, your offsprings. It changes, your gene expression. So you got to pay attention to that. And then the machines that are like handling, these drugs or packaging these drugs are a lot faster and a lot better than they used to be. For example, back in the 1880s, a cigarettes rolling machine used to be able to roll 4 cigarettes per minute. Now in 2025, how many cigarettes do you think those machines can roll per minute? 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. So it's a lot. So that's what I'm trying to tell my friend. Like when you live in a first world country, our dopamine economy, it continues to expand. Like you have food addiction, you have internet addiction, you have porno addiction, you have drug addiction, you have money hungry addiction, like you have online shopping addiction. So our dopamine economy just keep growing and growing and growing, and it's not sustainable. So imagine if you're poor, you don't have proper health, you don't have money, you don't have proper school, you don't have proper housing, and you live in a country where you're exposed with all those stuff. You're doomed if you're not smart. So that's the point that I'm trying to raise here in this video. I'm not trying to say that I am appreciative of living in a first world country. I'm not trying to say that, having options is a bad thing. It is a great thing. I love having options. I would rather live in a country with a lot of option than live in a country with not a lot of options. But I'm just trying to bring awareness that compulsive overconsumption is not a good thing. So you got to pay attention to that. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Ciao.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.